boop, and boop, so I can be the main thing. Hey, everybody, I'm the main thing. It's Razor from the Horror Syndicate, and we are doing a commentary for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Welcome for joining. Wes Craven, Immortal Classic. You guys can share if you'd like right now, as I'm going to do. I'm going to get the usual suspects in here. Minus Jared, because Jared is not feeling great tonight. He's got the poops. Hey, it's time for you to be quiet. My God. We are doing a commentary for A Nightmare on Elm Street. Welcome for joining. Wes Craven. Okay, so I guess everybody has shared. I don't know. So I'm gonna bring in Seth. Seth, you ready?
Yep.
Looks like there's Seth. He is ready to go. We are ready to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. We should share this in some nightmare groups. Piss everybody off, right? Seth, how are we doing tonight?
Not too bad. I'm gonna watch the remake. You guys watch the original.
That's what we're watching, right? The remake. Keith, what's happening?
Not much.
All shared up. Macaroni and cheese pizza sounds mighty tasty.
Yeah.
And Nightmare Nate is here. Okay. So I have mine paused right before the New Line logo. New Line Cinema, yes. Yeah, you're right. You need to be quiet now. Okay. This girl eventually is going to have her own podcast, I'm telling you. She's going to cover things like That's So Raven, Raven's Home, things like that. Where in the World of Carmen Sandiego. So you guys, are you guys about ready to go?
I'm good.
Seth's buddy Kevin is in here. David Gill. All right. If we're ready to go, I'm going to hit play. You guys ready to hit play? And 3, 2, 1. There's always a fucking delay for me whenever I hit play. Do you guys want to see my TV again? I don't think we'll get shut down. We didn't last time. All right. From what I understand, this is Nate's least favorite movie of all time. This one is my absolute favorite of all time. Join us on Tuesday, the last show before Thanksgiving. We're going to do an Elm Street ranking show. We're going to have them all ranked out. Well, they're already ranked out. Spoiler alert. The first one's the best.
I had a blast recreating this scene.
Yeah. You did a good job.
Thank you.
What did you make a movie? I don't
know. No.
You did do a good job.
Sequel.
Yeah, there's a sequel. Nate, I really appreciate your prequel that you did, and especially the location you found for this scene. That scene. There's my daughter. What are you doing? She's got a Freddy glove. What are you doing? No, I'm not putting that on. They can't see me. She wants this little lanyard thing. I can't. Ah. All right. Sit down and be quiet. I told you. Nathan couldn't even shit talk this movie as a joke. Neither can I. I love this. This is absolutely my favorite. The second movie. We should do the second movie eventually. Then we can have them all done. We'll watch all the nightmares.
I could shit talk it.
But no, we're not shit talking. Hey, don't you dare! You've already ruined Silver Bullet for me. Yeah, my daughter Helena just said she loves Silver Bullet. What is your guys' favorite Wes Craven movie besides The Nightmare on Elm Street?
People Under the Stairs.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Scream.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah,
Scream. Yeah. Hills Have Eyes is a good one. Definitely not Shocker. I could say that's probably Jared's.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
You know, I got to be honest. I've never seen that.
I haven't either. It keeps popping up recently, and I'm like, I've never seen this, and it looks good. Like, I want to watch it.
Surprisingly, you have not bought it.
I have not. Now I will.
What? Helena just says she has a commentary that we could do. And I said, what? She says, Phantasm. Yeah, let's everybody out there watching. What is your favorite non-nightmare themed Wes Craven film. So no New Nightmare either.
I would go with Scream, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Well, hold on, Scream, or do you mean the newest Scream? What are we talking about?
I'm not calling Scream 5 Scream.
It said Scream 5. Last House. Drew Zip says Deadly Blessing. And your buddy Kevin says Shocker. Oh, here we go. Swamp Thing. Scott Montgomery has 3 of them. Hope everybody's joining us watching at home. You see one of my favorites, Amanda Wiss.
Every time I see this scene when that mom first walks in, I like for a split second always think it's Alice Cooper.
But Alice Cooper's got black hair.
It's just like the eye makeup.
Or maybe Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. Maybe.
I need to remember to turn subtitles on.
I'm doing that right now too.
There we go.
There's Nate. Let me ask you some of the things that you don't like about this movie. Is there anything?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's nothing's
what?
perfect. I don't buy that. Oh, that movie's perfect. This movie's perfect. There's tons. I mean, they didn't have a huge budget. You know, I mean, there's going to be limitations. Yeah, I don't like that license plate. Fuck that license plate.
The license plate is Ogre. Fuck it.
That is terrible license plate. Ogre?
Yeah. Ogre? Come on, Johnny Depp. What are you doing?
Look at Johnny Depp carrying books. That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, where's your backpack, dude? Everybody else has a backpack.
Yeah.
Too good for a backpack.
Do you think Rod Lane and Johnny Depp had a relationship like Zach and AC Slater from Saved by the Bell? And maybe Rod Lane called him Preppy. Hey, Preppy. How cute Amanda Wiss is. Whew. I was so nervous meeting her, by the way. And Heather Langenkamp. I recommend it. It's intoxicating meeting both of them. Whoop. What's this? It's based on a scary hobo. Yeah. Nate, you want to give some background on A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Came out in 1984. I don't know. No, it was. No, I mean, he read some articles in the newspaper about these Southeast Asian guys who had moved to the States, young guys who were having nightmares, and they were afraid to go to sleep, and one of them died. So there was it's like a series of articles that Wes read, and he kind of formulated it from there. But yeah, what he's talking about, the hobo guy, Wes said when he was a kid, he lived in this apartment complex in Cleveland, and one night he was looking out the window and saw this hobo in a trench coat and kind of a hat like Freddy walking down. And when he looked at the window, the guy just stopped and looked straight up at him, and he ducked. And he waited a few minutes. He looked back, and the guy was still standing there staring up at him, and then started walking towards the door like he was coming to get him. And he just like that's Freddy to him, the guy that would take pleasure in terrifying a child like that.
Yeah. When I hear that story, when I hear Wes telling that story, you know what I always imagine in my mind is Wes Craven as the janitor in Scream. I imagine the guy looking like that. Not you, Fred.
Well, that's what I wanted to start Confession that way with that storyline. So, like, unfortunately, the window in the front of the house we were shooting at was boarded shut, like nailed shut, and we couldn't do it. So the kids were supposed to be playing hide and go seek upstairs, and he looks out the window, and that whole thing plays out. So, he ended up having him sitting on the steps playing with G.I. Joes, and it's all implied. But you do see Kevin walking down the sidewalk in a trench coat and a fedora.
Yeah,
scaring little kids. So.
If you don't know what we're talking about Nate's prequel, The Confession of Fred Krueger, which you can watch on YouTube after the show. Not right now. Don't you leave.
It's excellent.
Uh-oh. Somebody's late.
What is all that?
I have no
All
clue.
that noise.
Oh,
So-
is that a
a lot of
blender?
noise going on.
It was Glenn playing this tape. I
I
hear
have
it.
a feeling I thought you were. It must be Seth. Seth, what's going on in the background over there?
Well, my own personal Jar Jar Binks named Indigo is chewing up a bone right now in front of
No.
the coffee table.
Jar Jar Binks. Binks. Does that make you boss ass?
Right there in that window, you can see it's a what do you call it? At restaurant, Jared, Frisch's Big Boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
So if you want, also a confession, there's a Frisch's Big Boy statue like that on Freddie's foster father's table when he's getting drunk.
Did you have fun hunting?
Eric Huckison.
Oh yeah, Eric Husk's playing the.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
tried to put
Alice
as
Cooper.
much. Yeah, I tried
The
to put
Alice
as
Cooper
much
character?
shit. Yeah, which the character Alice is playing is from Jeffrey Cooper's book, The Life and Death of Freddy Krueger, or the prequel that he wrote that I based a lot of it on. The whole razor strap beating and the straight razor and all that comes from that book.
Is that book out of print?
No, I bought it on Amazon a while back because I bought it in '88, but it's in terrible condition. So I bought it on Amazon, I think, for not very much. It's still in there.
What's it called again?
It's called A Nightmare on Elm Street Companion or The Nightmare on Elm Street Companion.
Okay.
It came out right before the third movie was, I guess, shot.
Oh,
Or
that
it was written then. It came out. I think it came out the year Dream Warriors came out, but it was written before it, so it doesn't have a lot about Dream Warriors. Most of the making of Part 1 and 2.
Ah, son of a bitch. I wonder if Mark Patton would be interested in doing a commentary on part 2 with us.
Saw Lisa Wilcox is doing a commentary of Part 5 on Saturday, I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Online.
I remember seeing her doing part 4. She must be doing another one.
Mark did one, I think. I think he did host
Yeah,
a live commentary of Part 2 a couple months ago.
Is that what? Can you guys see my screen?
Morality sucks.
Hey, Nathan, is that book written by Jeffrey Cooper? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
There's one
Jeffrey-
left on Amazon for $22.67. Very
Pick
good.
it up. Yeah, Jeffrey wrote all the novelizations. I don't know if he did all of them. He did a bunch of them. So he wrote this prequel in that book, and that was I give him and Wes Craven the credit for like story and was inspired in my short because a lot of it was based on that. I read that when I was 12 years old, 1988. And I wanted to see that as a movie, and Freddy's Dead was not that movie.
Yeah, you're right. It was better. No, I'm joking. What's up, guys? Nate, what is your favorite kill in the entire Nightmare on Elm Street? I like that he singles out Nate.
Yeah, we're about to watch it. Tina's death is not only my favorite in the whole series, but all of horror film history, in my opinion. I think it's just phenomenal. It's terrifying. The lack of music, her screaming, going up the
Rod
walls.
Lane sells it too.
Yeah, and then even just the build up right here, what we see where he tries to come through the wall to get Nancy. She goes out in the alleyway, and just arms stretching out. All the jumping around and self-mutilating himself to scare Sean. Hey, you can't hurt me. That's what's terrifying. Like Freddy's cutting himself up to say, I'm you can't harm me. You can't hurt me. There's nothing you can do. You can't fight your way out of this. And he's laughing at you the whole time.
Yeah.
And I also like sometimes I look at this scene, like Freddy. This is like his first stuff, so it's almost I kind of compared it to Spider-Man. You know, it's like in the first Spider-Man movie where Peter starts to realize his powers and he's having fun with it. He's jumping, he's running. I kind of see that like Freddy is like he's got powers and he can do things and he's like enjoying. I'm a superhero now, or I'm a supervillain, or whatever it is, and he's like, look at this, look what I can do. Like, you know, I can grow my arms, you can rip my face off, I can cut my fingers off, and it doesn't bother me.
Testing the bounds.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is a guy who was, I mean, he was a child killer, so he's a coward, he's a weakling in real life. I mean, he was somebody who was a, you know, and now he has incredible powers, and that's what these bullies and these guys are. That's why he preyed on children, because he couldn't hack it with adults. Although I kind of had the motive of he was taking away the children. It was something Robert in my short, Robert Englund in the interview said when he was in the makeup room with getting all that shit put on him, all the KY jelly and all those layers, and Johnny and Heather came in, these 20-year-old beautiful young actors, and he was like in his mid-30s and a B character actor. And he kind of envied how beautiful and young and how their whole careers were ahead of them. So he kind of used that resentment and that jealousy of their youth and beauty as Freddy. Like Freddy hates youth. He wants to destroy it and cut it up. And so I kind of looked at that as well in my film. As the motivation was to destroy youth and beauty and future, not having a future. Because Johnny Depp, and he knew Johnny Depp was going to be a star. He knew they could just tell. And he would never have that. There's the big boy in the window.
No, yeah, you can see his back. Yeah, Johnny's the only one that had a really big career, but I mean, Robert Englund's career was pretty damn good too.
You've got Georgie's rain slicker there. It's great cinematography from Jacques Haken. We tried to match that lighting and that. We use a lot of this like blue lighting he's using there, but that's why I also think that like people say that part 2 doesn't fit, but Jacques shot both of those films and they in some of the same locations. So part 2 looks and feels like part 1 more than any other Nightmare movie.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to answer what your favorite kill is in the series?
Mine would be I think Debbie from Dream Master, the cockroach scene.
Yeah. I don't believe in you.
I believe in you.
Yeah, this is my favorite as well. Keith, do you have one?
I'm not sure what mine would be. Maybe the puppet sequence in part 3, just because it's so like different and inventive.
When you go out to LA, make sure you go to that alleyway, because that was the coolest. Like as a Nightmare fan, to walk down that alleyway, stretch my arms out, and shit, that was like a geek out moment.
Oh yeah.
So is there ever any like reason why Freddy's blood is green? I guess he just chooses to do that.
Yeah. It's part of the whole Nightmare thing. Also, I love his look in this movie. It's kind of, I have a hard time deciding which I like, because I love that his clothes are baggy on him.
Yeah.
They look like somebody, like that's all he could wear. Why would he wear a sweater all the time? Like, because that's all he had.
Yeah, it looks like stuff he ordered.
Yeah.
That's what he has.
The sweater was an extra large, which Robert Englund definitely doesn't wear an extra large sweater. So.
In the later films, he's more like tailored into his clothes.
Everything's fitting nicely. This one, he's just really dirty. His hands aren't burnt because he only had partial burns in the original movie.
I mean, I guess you could say like he got better with his powers, and he's like, "Oh, I can make myself look nicer."
I'll stand up straighter, and I'll be more confident.
Yeah, I mean, part 2 is my favorite look.
Nick Wood says he loves that it's always Halloween with us. Well, we're having nightmares today. Thanks, David. You're with me and Nate on that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a great kill, great death.
It's shocking. I mean, it's just the blood. It's very.
I mean,
And then
plus the making of it, like the whole rotating room.
the rotating room, which they reused in Electric Boogaloo, Breaking Two.
Weren't they like super concerned about making the room because they didn't know how they were gonna like hold the weight up of everything?
Yeah. Oh, here's a quick note. That's Joseph Whipp talking to Donald there.
Mm-hmm.
He was the sheriff in Scream.
Oh yeah.
And he was actually at the premiere of Confession at Poorhound Weekend. Him and his wife skipped a dinner out with friends to come see the movie and he was in the front row. So
that's awesome.
He really liked the movie. It was really cool to have him there. Him and Mark Patton were there. So really nice guy right there.
But I sure would like to know what the hell you were doing shacking about 3 other kids.
I gotta step out real quick.
I feel like Saxon's like my favorite character in the series.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if like he had a little bit more involvement in the sequels and like he'd almost be like a Loomis-ish character.
I don't know. Loomis was a believer. Saxon's not really. He doesn't believe it until he sees it. He's always
True.
doubting Nancy, and you know.
That's what I'm saying. It could be more like he kept trying to hunt truth or something like that instead of
Hunting damnation.
That's the interesting thing about the original script for Part 3 that Craven co-wrote with what's his name, Bruce Wagner, I believe, is that Thompson had a bigger role in that, and he was out there looking for Freddy, and he was kind of the one that got kind of pep talked all the kids, the Dream Warriors.
sounds great.
They kind of changed his role up for when the script was rewritten.
Nate,
I'll
did you get some
apologize.
food? It's all good, man.
Real quick. Yeah, now I apologize if I mentioned Confession a lot because I don't mean to, but that was like my ultimate love letter to this film in particular.
Oh, you're good.
So a lot of things I'll know is like, yeah, we did this for that, and I mean, it's like I try to get as much of this film into that because I felt people forgot the original Nightmare on Elm Street. When people think of Freddy, they think about Dream Warriors or Dream Master or
Yeah.
all that. And people,
That's
there's
true.
to the point where people like see the first movie again and they're like, where's the sleeves? What's the stripes
Yeah.
going on the sleeves? Those type of things. They don't even remember it because
Well,
we have
his
this
face-
other image of Freddy.
And his face isn't as makeup, you know. It looks a lot different as the series goes on. I mean, especially in the second
Yeah.
movie, they changed his appearance quite a bit. It's
Yeah.
maybe not quite a bit, but
It's crazy the amount of people that don't realize that he doesn't have stripes on his sleeve.
yeah. Well, it's because it's nailed into your head with all the other movies and then
Yeah.
all the advertising, and Freddy always has the stripes on his. Also, Nate, if we think that you're talking about it too much, I'll let you know.
Like I
Or did
remember,
people? Go ahead.
I was saying, I remember when the first NECA figure for Freddy came out for the first movie.
What's
Lots of
NECA?
people were like, did I get a miss? And I'm like, no.
I love that.
I,
I love that fucking figure, man, with the arm.
Yeah,
stretched out.
I was extremely happy when I saw that. I was like, oh my god, they got it right. Because every other figure I got from McFarlane, because McFarlane had a couple, Every one of them, was with stripes on the sleeve, and then this one comes out and it's perfect. They did a great job, great sculpting.
Cool. About to see Miss Lynn Shay pop up here.
I love Lynn Shay. She
That was
became a kind of a big thing in her own right too.
Oh yeah, sister of Bob Shay, the producer, who we just heard a minute ago on the news channel. That was his voiceover.
Yeah, he's always got to have his.
Yeah, he kind of have his cameo.
Yeah, his cameo was the best though in part 4, in my opinion.
This guy that sits up and reads is Daryl Hannah's brother.
The surfer guy or whatever. What he's labeled as.
Mm-hmm.
He looks very enthused too. He kind of gives her this look. And he said he got a standing ovation on set. Do you believe that? I don't.
I don't know what they had him doing as a stage whisper when he says his line.
And I got a standing ovation. No, you did not.
This is one of the creepiest images in horror, in my opinion. Tina standing in that doorway in the body bag. That's one of my favorite images.
Yeah, I said what is NECA because it's not NECA, it's NECA.
I worked for him. It's NECA.
He gives me shit
It's
for it all
initials
the time.
for what it stands for. That's why it's not NECA.
I asked Randy, and he said it's NECA.
I'll never call it that.
Because I wanted to make sure I was talking it right when I work with him. I was like,
National Entertainment Collectibles Association. That's what it stands for.
yeah.
Just saying.
Don't want to
In
say
the
that
old
all
days,
the time. I want that national.
Yeah, well, that's why we shortened NECA. That sounds cooler. NECA
I remember the
sounds
first
like
time I kept saying NECA. He was like, "The fuck are you saying? Why do you keep saying NECA?"
It makes my skin crawl anytime I hear NECA. Oh.
And the guard here is Leslie Hoffman, and she was a stunt woman. Most people will know that she was she played Queen, the Queen in yep. She played the Queen in Naked Gun, the one that Drebin knocks onto the table.
Oh, really? Like he's humping?
Yeah, that's Leslie.
That's great.
She was in 1941, Steven Spielberg's movie. She's done a lot of stuff.
Movie.
Yeah.
No students allowed. Why didn't they put doors on the entrance to get down there so nobody would go in there? All right. I'll be right back. You're going to see me walk past the screen.
I mean, there are some things like in these movies, like right now, like my mind would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go look for my friend who's in a body bag.
She's asleep.
True, I get that.
This is where like Elm Street really stands out because like when you talk about this series, it's usually talked about in the same breath as like Halloween and Friday the 13th, but it's really elevated higher than those with how creative it is and how there is an effort for there's like more of a complex story and characters. Like Elm Street, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original especially, is it's almost kind of a shame that it just gets brushed off as just a slasher.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it goes into, I mean, John's rule, Carpenter, is keep it simple. Keep it simple. And that's what Halloween is, extremely simple. And since Friday was following that, it makes sense. But Wes is he's a professor. He's a thinker. He
was a psychology major, right?
Psychology major. So he's like someone who brings a lot of deep thought.
Yeah.
and creativity into his stories. Like you said, complex. And just the glove it alone is just such an amazing thing that really stands out about Freddy. He has this thing he made. No one else has that. It's not just a knife or a machete or an axe.
Right.
Something he made himself to cut children apart. I mean, it's just, and that's another thing. When Bob was doing that voiceover, he says that Tina was 15 years old, Tina Gray. And there's a lot of people who have a problem with the remake because they focused on the molestation part of Freddy Krueger. But Freddy Krueger was always that.
Mm-hmm.
He's a child molester. He's flicking his tongue at Nancy. He's going to Tina in her nightgown. And soon he's going to have his arm between Nancy's legs in the bathtub. There was always seduction of sexuality to what Freddy does with these kids. And they're all teenagers. They're all children. As Mark Patton pointed out when he was on the show, they're underage kids. He is a child molester. He is a pedophile.
Yeah, it was like more like they were implying it instead of outright saying it.
Yeah. This is not your buddy. This is not your hero.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to root for Freddy.
I will say that is something I liked in the remake. Like, I'm not a big fan of that movie, but I like that they went back to that and they delved deeper into it, and like they kind of showed like suppressed memories, and like whenever they finally realize what's happening at the end of that movie, like it's like a giant bomb hits them and shows like the reality of what that does to people.
Well, even like in Freddy versus Jason, you know, he's got Laurie on the bed. He says the first time can get a bit messy. I mean, it's the same thing that they're complaining about the remake for.
Well, I mean, do you think the remake would have been a little more acceptable in the remake? Like if they just kind of like they didn't have like this whole doubt thing with it where, you know, where possibly the kids were lying.
I like that, to be honest.
I think it was a good alternative to their, like trying to make it their own.
Especially if you're seeing it and you don't know the Nightmare series very well. Like for a new viewer, like that's a good like twist. And
yeah, if you don't know the films, it works. If you do, you're just watching it going, all right. So these kids, are they villains? Am I supposed to be on their side? Are they lying? Did they get this man killed? But we've seen that in other slashers, like, you know, a lot of people like the characters in like Terror Train, or are they responsible for what happened? Those type of things, or Cropsy and Burning, where the kids who are being punished, or even, you know, I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever, like they're responsible. They've brought this upon themselves. They're not innocents. And what's bad about this is these kids in Nightmare are innocents. They're paying for the sins of their parents for murdering this guy. So, I mean, it makes sense that they would bring that did he or did he not, and are they lying? Did they get an innocent man killed? The problem was the characters are damaged already from the get-go. There's no innocence lost.
It was made for Hot Topic kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just wondering if, you know, they should have either went fully one way or fully the other. You know, either he was totally innocent or he was completely guilty.
There's another incredible visual of just a glove coming up in the bathtub between her legs. I mean, Wes has so many amazing images in this film.
Nick Wood asks if we've ever hung out in real life. I've been with Nate a couple times, and I hung out with Keith at Horror Hound last year, and he forced me to buy a bunch of action figures I didn't want.
That was the first time I met Nate.
Yeah,
Seth's just a loner. Seth lives too far away.
Yeah, Seth lives in bumfuck Egypt.
Yeah, I just started as a guest on their podcast, and they brought me back. I was on the old one. a couple of times, I think. And then
Yeah.
you brought me onto this new one as a guest. And then I think the next episode, you invited me back. I think you had Vince and Renee on, and you kind of had the three of us together for the fan film thing. And then the pandemic hit, and Ray just kept saying, "Hey, you want to come back next week?" And I was like, "Well,
No. Let's tell it the right way. He came on with the other indie filmmakers that did great fan films, and he never left.
yeah." I just kept hanging out. I don't even sign off at the end of these shows. I just keep it
He
going.
just bounces. It's
Are
like,
you
when
guys back yet?
Yeah.
You're literally Jay and Silent Bob hanging out at the Quick Stop.
Yeah, we're always at the stores, Snoogans.
So is this bathtub part, like the top part, is this like actually in a house or is this in a set?
Just sad, isn't it? Because they had to.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
definitely
that's-
empty on the bottom.
That right there is. I mean, I think all the houses set. Because the house, the exterior, that's not the interior of this house at all.
Well, I think the downstairs is. And I think
no, the downstairs. If you want to see what the actual downstairs looks like, it's in the Halloween TV version where Laurie and when that's the real Elm Street house,
I know.
1428.
Well, they filmed some stuff in that house because
I'm sure they did something there.
Yeah, Heather Langenkamp's been back and went to the inside, and she even went in her bedroom. She said they filmed stuff up there. I mean, she could be wrong. I don't know.
Stay awake.
Tell you what, never eating Colton's again.
Stay awake. Even the pajamas, man. Nancy's got her own iconic hero suit. Yeah, this is where I tell people, like, because people try to say that this movie takes place in 1981. It's like, no. Evil Dead wouldn't be playing on TV. And there's a police poster on the door, on her wall somewhere that came out in 83.
So, Daddy Daytona, you're meeting your daddy next month, Keith.
I gotta wait. What? What's happening?
It says you guys have a potluck together. I think he's my fifth cousin up in Holler, up in the Holler. Nick Woods says, "Well, you guys are awesome. I'll watch every." Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's actually the only reason we have Nate on is because he brings people in.
People also forget that the door was blue there.
Yeah.
There's the police poster for synchronicity. Behind her. I remember, like, this guy was like dead saves argument. Oh no, it's 1981 because he's trying to make the timeline work. I'm like, no, it's not. And then finally, I said, he goes, well, that could have been a TV spot for Evil Dead. That would have been on TV. It's like, and then I said, hey, what about that 1983 police poster on the wall? Fuck.
Crumbled everything. That's like me when we watched the Texas movies, and I was trying to like give 3D like some benefit of the doubt, and that fucking tombstone popped up, and I was like, fuck.
Johnny Depp is really good in this film for his first time acting. It's and you know, Wes said that he hung around, he wanted to he was paying attention, he was asking questions, he really wanted to understand what they were doing and the art of filmmaking, and he was really concerned that he wasn't doing a good job, and Wes kept having to tell him, no, you're doing great, buddy. And he's funny, he's got really funny timing.
And then years later, he married Amber Heard.
And that was all over.
Oh, justice for Johnny. So I think it's crazy he got fired, but he's still getting his entire paycheck.
Nate, you probably don't remember this, but you brought 2 of your prints to my house, dropped them off on my porch a few years back. I think I may have traded something for them, but I still have them hanging on my wall. That's from Nick Wood. Which prints are they?
I don't know.
It's like I've given people lots of prints.
Yeah, that's a lot of print.
I was asking him. He would know. Nick would know.
I remember doing that for Nick, though. I do, yeah. When I lived closer. I don't think I was very far away from him.
Are you still watching?
Yeah, so
Just checking. Are you still watching?
I wonder if this is part of the footage that Sean S. Cunningham directed. He did some second unit of, and he threw the Elm Street sign in there.
That's why it looks so shitty.
Yeah.
No. Night of the Comets, he says. Was it from the Scream Factory?
From the Scream Factory thing, maybe.
Oh, I would love that. That's you had those.
So is Glenn in her dream, or is that
Well, I
just?
mean, it's Johnny Depp. Of course, he's in her dream.
Or is it like well, I'm just wondering the rules there. Is it like her projection of him?
Or Freddy.
Yeah, I would
fucking up there.
assume so.
Yeah, I think this here is something Sean Cunningham shot right here.
It looks too Friday the 13th to me. Oh my god, did you just see Nettie run across in a fucking headdress? Okay, I got creepier than I intended. It's funny. The first nightmare was the last horror I saw out of the big three. Saw Freddy's Dead as a kid at a weird showing, and it turned me off to him for so long. That's too bad. Freddy's Dead is canon.
God damn it.
This here is a library.
Yep, the police station's a library and the whole exterior. Sean Clark does Horror Sallow Grounds. You can find it on. He goes to all the locations. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah, I went to this one too. My wife had to get out of the car and take the picture of me. I said, I gotta hold the bars. You gotta take a picture of me.
I bet did that ruin her day?
Hey, she's like, because I was going around all these places. I gotta take a picture. I need you to take my picture.
Nate's personal photographer. Believe me, I know this. My wife knew the same feeling. She'd do that shit for me all the time too.
I feel, Seth, I feel like Glenn is just like a projection Freddy's doing. Because, like, whenever they wake up, like, she gets mad that Glenn fell asleep, but doesn't Glenn still, like, have no fucking clue what's going on?
Yeah, he's asleep.
Yeah, so if he was in the dream, I feel like he would be like, oh, fuck, I did fall asleep, my bad.
Oh, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Freddy doing it, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think it's actually Glenn.
Oh, no, it's not. It's definitely not. You shit. What he calls him.
Yeah, you shit.
But, I mean, that's the thing of this movie. It does have rule problems, like, especially at the end.
Well, I mean, dreams, you can
Right,
break
Nick,
rules.
take care.
Well, I mean, it's the thing with Freddy coming into the real world with
When the
like, the
TV
mom in the bed.
When the TV spots started airing in 1984, this image of her in the stairs just freaked me out for some reason. Everybody thinks this is I think it's supposed to be Marge's face. It's another imperfect part of this movie. It's not very well done.
I like the little kick she gives him in the side that tell him to roll over now.
And this right here, coming through the mirror and attacking her in the room. The feathers. I remember when I did some art, when I met Robert, he loved that I got the feathers in there. I did like a 30-year, 40-year-old, I don't remember what year it was. And you also, when he was doing I forgot to mention the This Is God scene, and this scene where he's got the glove on her, and this scene, he's got the stunt glove on. Right there. And you can see the finger cuffs aren't attached at the knuckles.
Isn't that what they called Alyssa?
Which people said was a mistake in my movie when I threw the stunt glove in there for an homage. They used a broken glove. Didn't think no one would notice.
You didn't pay attention.
So many experts.
Yeah, intentionally, dipshit. No. I said, yeah, go watch this shot here. Right here, there's a stunt glove. No. Okay. What is that? Electrical tape on the finger? Jesus. Yeah. It was on there in the original movie. Yeah. I didn't just put it on there for fucking shits and giggles. Yeah, you know what this means? Electrical tape. These movies are put together. People don't understand how much like duct tape and shit's just held together to get the shot, and then it's like trashed. You know, the props and the replicas that you buy from people or see, the original real props and stuff did not look that pristine
No,
and
because
perfect.
half the time they need it for like one shot, and they don't
Yeah.
care how junky and falling apart it is. As long as they can hold together for that one scene, it could be trash after that.
Yeah. Hey, this is the dude from Texas Chainsaw 3, right? The Hook. The deputy.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, boy, I'm sorry I made you a chainsaw. What's his name? Joe Unger.
So I'm guessing this cloth is like wrapped in some kind of like
I think it's Freddy's penis.
cord skeleton.
Sadly, just lost John Saxon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was saying while you were gone. I wish he had, like, he's probably my favorite character in the movies, but I wish he had more. I like how he doesn't know where his fucking keys are.
Yeah. Though this is one of the few slasher movies where parents do have a presence.
That's true.
And it's part of it is that the parents aren't listening to their kids. It's part of what Wes's intentions were, that we need to listen to our children more. There's like, especially at this point, it was kind of like, yeah, be quiet. That's good. That's good. You know, go out and play. Go out and play. That's something I had in the sequel. Sorry, Seth, but in the sequel to mine, Freddy really gives it to the parents that they let him murder their children. Like, you could have protected. You knew I was out there. You didn't do enough. You were, wrapped up in your own lives. And
I mean, anytime I mention that, I'm just busting your balls. I mean, I really want to see. I really want to see you do it.
I know, because I've said I won't.
Yeah, I really want to see you do it, but
Yeah, I know.
I understand.
Yeah.
If you want to send the script my way so I can read it, that'd be great.
I can do that.
So it's like, give me substance.
How long is it?
It would have been about the same length as Confession was. Because it's like 12 Angry Men meets Nightmare on Elm Street, basically. It's just all the parents, from the Dream Warriors characters to these characters, and the cops from that first film, and they're all kind of debating on, are we going to do this? Are we going to murder this guy? They got him tied up in their room. And they're arguing over whether or not they can morally do it and live with it, if it's right.
Well, there's so much potential with that story, man.
Yeah, so I just didn't want to just do, burn him, burn. I wanted to actually have conflict, and like they actually get in fights, physical fights. You got Rod. I think I had like Rod's dad is a piece of shit racist, and him and Kincaid's dad get in a fight, and all kinds of little things like that going on. I had like Kristen's dad was the mayor of Springwood, and so he's like, they're worried about getting like, I can't be seen here, and all this. Yeah.
Which is another thing they did a little bit, again, something I like in the remake. They did that whole scene where the parents are fucking chasing him down with the car, and they are arguing about like you can't do this, and I think it's Clancy Brown that's in it. He's like, fuck all.
Yeah. We went to that cemetery when I was there too, and they were filming something there. I don't know. It was early in the morning. They were setting up all the tents and had all the, you know, trailers and all that there for the cast.
Hey, Chris, Nate's not going to make a comic. He's done doing comics. But this is a good thing. You think Freddy would have just gone after parents? Do you think Freddy was afraid of the parents in a way because of what they did to him? And that's why he didn't go after them?
I think he wanted to hurt them where that, yeah, like so I said, they,
yeah, but also he preys on the younger people because he can. And it's like, why wouldn't he go after the parents? I know he's going after them in a certain way, but why not kill them?
Because nothing's going to hurt them more than murdering their children still after death. Because that's why they murdered him in the first place. Was because he was killing their kids. So he's like, I could still get to your kids, and I'm still going to get to your kids. It's more of a, if he kills them, they don't suffer. If he kills their children again,
all he had to do was sold us some dream demons, and he was good to go.
Notice that poster on the wall? There's a cat on a trolley in San Francisco poster for some reason. And this is the voice of Roger Rabbit.
Yep.
Charles Fleischer.
The incredible body, Hocus Pocus.
From Welcome Back, Kotta.
Yeah, that poster is just why.
It's weird.
It looks like something Angela would have from The Office.
It does.
It makes me think cats are the real musicians. Or real artists or whatever.
Like the painting makes sense, and then you just have this fucking trolley cat.
That's my next comic, Trolley Cat.
Trolley cat.
Trolley cat. He's like at Magnum PI in San Francisco.
Chris, you want to color that comic, Trolley Cat? Yeah, I know why Freddy went after the kids. I was just playing devil's advocate. I understand.
Why didn't he kill? Well, I will say that in my sequel, he did. I have no, he doesn't. For a minute, I thought I had him killing the main cop from the first movie.
The one that roughed him up, or the one that was interviewing him?
The one that was interviewing him.
Yeah.
But I have something else in there instead. It's been a while.
I love her mom's reaction when she sees her arm.
And even the concept of being able to pull his hat out of the dream. That's another very creative. Like Seth said, like that, like I think it was it John Carl Buechler who said that, like if you were a special effects artist, like getting on a Nightmare movie was like the ultimate because you got to be so creative. You got to be like you get to really be artistic and inventive. Whereas it's not just somebody getting chopped up or stabbed or
yeah,
like
it's not as cookie cutter. You could like
yeah.
be like, we need something here, like figure something cool out.
Yeah, and that's
well, that's why these films stand out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's why they should continue because there's so many more things that could be accomplished now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need Robert to be Freddy. He can look like anything.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. It's not just a guy in a mask walking around. There's so many directions you could go. I mean, like I just felt that Freddy was perfect because, like, you know, the Conjuring movies have those type of characters, supernatural, the crooked guy, and all that stuff. And then you got Pennywise. Pennywise is just basically Freddy in many ways, and like there's a parallel between it and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, plus you could even still.
They both came out in '84.
Huh? Okay, same time, yeah.
Yeah, the book for it was published in '84, and this movie came out in '84.
Yeah.
Sorry, Keith.
I'll say you could even do a sequel and still stay coherent with like what happens in the movies and just go the possession route, like Part 2.
Look, I wrote Part 6. I'm just saying.
I thought it came out in '86. Was it '84?
I believe it was '84.
I thought it was '86
Okay.
also.
I can check.
When did the book It come out?
Here's something I found on the web. According to fantasyplaythings.com, Book of Judgment was announced in August.
Okay, Alexa, that's not what I want. Alexa, shut up.
Here's something I
Alexa,
found
when did Stephen King's It come out?
on Playthings.com. Book of Judgment was announced in August.
TV show. Alexa, shut up. Stop.
Fred Krueger, Mom. Fred Krueger.
Start telling me about the Book of Judgment.
Alexa.
Oh, you're right. It was 86.
Okay.
Steven
Maybe-
sits over here like, I'll just get my book.
But he wrote it way before then, basically.
Yeah, I think because
So-
I read something where he was talking about like the coincidences between the two.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not coincidences. He stole. We know Stephen King steals story and plot points.
No, he's on coke. He doesn't remember anything.
See, that right there all looks like a set to me.
But the thing is, the layout of the house is exactly the same as it actually is. Like the kitchen's in the back.
Well, no, the stairs aren't there when you come in the door like that.
They're not?
No.
No,
Hey,
they're
go
hooked to the
pop,
left,
like,
aren't they?
yeah, pop in the Halloween TV scenes, and when you see them and looking out the window, and TJ Souls comes over saying the guy in the car was chasing her, following her. That's the Elm Street living room.
I think the stairs in that are like they're like cooked over to like the left or something.
I think it's just a wall or something. They don't go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had some random not horror fan like on my Facebook. She was watching Nightmare. She was like, "I'm supposed to believe this takes place in fucking Ohio and there's fucking palm trees."
Yeah, the Springwood, Ohio thing didn't come until Freddy's Dead, right?
I don't remember.
Like Springwood's in the sequel, second one, but they don't make it Ohio, I believe, until Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, so when this was made, it wasn't technically set anywhere.
Yeah.
Listen, every town has an Elm Street.
Which he never mentions Elm Street either. That's another old detail that Elm Street was just a representation of Americana, and that's where John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas, was on Elm Street. We haven't even talked about how great Nancy is as a character, how Wes's daughters kind of said, why do all the girls in the movies fall down and need saving and all that? And he decided to write against that, where Nancy is this character who's extremely strong and is actually wanting to face Freddy and builds these booby traps.
Yeah.
And purposely goes into dreams to hunt him down.
One of my first heroes ever.
Yeah.
And I
I'd say
told her that.
The other thing I like Glenn, like he actually cares about Nancy so much. He doesn't really like fully believe her, but he cares about her so much that he's reading up about how people defend themselves in their nightmares and like doing research.
Maybe he's just trying to get some, Gene.
Virgin.
Yeah. Of course he cares about her.
Trying to be Johnny Deep.
He's a good guy.
I mean, morality sucks.
Yeah.
The way she just walks in frame and lights that fucking cigarette.
Oh, yeah. Marge is very dramatic. I love the scene when she hides the bottle of vodka or whatever it is in the towel closet. And
Yeah.
just kind of leans back and takes a drink. It's like, why is she hiding it, first of all?
I used to have a real problem with Ronnie's performance. I thought it was so over the top. But then
I love it.
I started to realize, like, well, it's what grounds Nancy so much. Is
Well,
everybody
also
around her.
She's an alcoholic. I mean,
Yeah,
that adds to it, you know.
Which goes to this scene. In this scene, when they shot, they cut the last part of it for pacing, really, because if you've seen the deleted scenes, Marge goes on to say that Nancy had a sibling and Lynn had a sibling, that Freddie killed their brothers and sisters, and he cut it out of the movie. And people say, well, it's not part of it. And I'm like, well, Ronnie and John both played that part as parents who lost a child. And to me, that's why I brought it into my prequels, because that's to me why she's an alcoholic. She lost her firstborn, was murdered. That's why she has that glove. Why else would she have that glove if she wasn't personally affected by this son of a bitch? And why did they have a divorce? And why a lot of parents who lose a child will divorce. So that like it all kind of set up why their situation is the way it is, because they did lose a child to Freddy Krueger. Why was John the one who got rid of the bones, and why was he the one that was there? Like, there had to be more personal touch there for it. So that was filmed with that detail in line with the film, and
They should have left it in.
I think the only problem of it is like, how can you really hide? Who would really hide their child from their kids?
Yeah, and plus, like, you go to Christmas or something, like, people are gonna, family members are gonna talk about it. And...
Yeah, it's kind of it's really trying to stretch your rationality of that.
Hey, Nate, you
Well,
go ahead, Seth.
I was just saying, I mean, because they were really covering up their crime, really,
Yeah.
By
That's
not talking about it, by not mentioning it. They were.
That's why I also don't like the whole that he was part of the society, that he was a suburbanite, that he was a family man, because a guy like that just can't disappear. But a drifter, piece of shit, the hobo drifter guy could disappear, and no one would give a shit.
Because you don't get the sense that Freddy is really the town, like, dirty secret or anything like that. I never thought that. Like he's saying, him being a drifter, that he could easily disappear and nobody will miss him. Who's going to miss him?
Well, like this inspiration, like it was mentioned at the beginning of the movie, that the guy that was the hobo who Wes saw as a kid, like that was the inspiration. And that's the thing. Like, if anybody's like watched the documentary on Cropsey up in New York,
it's on Hulu. It's really good.
Yeah, like you've got, and this goes back to like the Pied Piper, which they brought into the remake and things, where there's this old mythology folklore thing of the drifter loner who is there to steal your children in the night from you, and that's what he was playing on with that.
I'm gonna have to look at that. Drew Zip says the school bus in part 2 it says Springwood, Indiana.
I don't know if it says Indiana. I know it says Springwood.
Yeah, I know it's a Springwood. I never noticed if it said Indiana, but guess who's watching part 2 after this? Look, I can't do one nightmare at a time. I need more than one. I mean, I adore every single one of these films, all of them. Even Freddy's Dead.
Are you crazy?
She's nutty as a fruitcake.
What was I going on about a minute ago? I forget.
Fuck.
Yeah.
The Pied Piper and
like that's like I want to get into that, because my movie gets shit on for the hobo, because there's a lot of people say, well, he had a wife and kid in Freddy's Dead. Well, that was something that was invented and brought to it in Freddy's Dead. It wasn't ever implied in the first 5 films. Freddy was a drifter. That's how Jeffrey Cooper's short story is. That's what Wes Craven had.
Freddy had a kid.
Well, here in a minute, it's not shot wide, but when
listen,
Nancy,
it could be anything from Kevin to Kyle. Okay.
When Nancy goes into the boiler room to chase Freddy here shortly, she goes into a room and she finds the crucifix. So she finds the crucifix under Freddy's mattress in his bed in his room in the boiler room. That's where he lived.
Yeah.
There's a whole set. If you read Never Sleep Again, Tommy Hudson's book about the first film, there are images of Freddy's living space, his bed, his shelves, all the stuff where he built the glove. All those things are there. And Heather Langenkamp talks about that set. The art director talks about that set. There's pictures of Robert. There's pictures of Rachel Talalay laying on the bed.
I don't like her.
Freddy lived in the boiler room. He was not a suburbanite. He did not live in 1428 Elm Street. None of that's.
No, that was all brought in by the Freddy's Dead script, which is not a good script and definitely poorly directed.
And if you see cut scenes from the opening glove building scene, there's a scene where he's got the paper bag and he drops it on his bed. You can see the set clearer.
Sorry, Drew, we can't click on the link. I guess other people who are watching could to pull up the picture. I'm trying to do that
I
now.
copied the link. Went to another tab. It says Springwood IND School District
Mm.
on the bus.
IND
As,
is actually is short for Ohio. No.
Interesting.
Yeah. Most people think it's OH, but it's IND. It makes total sense.
I mean, Nate, I 100% agree with you. I prefer the hobo Freddy over the suburban Freddy any day of the week. Freddy's Dead can be fun to watch. I mean, I watch them all. I don't hate a single one of them, but a lot of that was just convenient. Convenient that he happened to live in 1428. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it was
becoming a thing, though.
Yeah, it's created this whole that's the way it was, and I was like, that's not the character, that's not the story I knew, and they threw that in there.
Listen,
because they had to come up with a way to kill Freddy off permanently, so they thought, okay, how about his blood? Just like in Jason Goes to Hell, he has to be born from a Voorhees, can die from a Voorhees.
Yeah, but that came after.
I know it did, but it's not like Freddy's Dead's not the first one to do that. Like a family member has to kill.
You can thank Halloween 2 for this. It has to have a family tie-in.
Yeah. Which they usually do, like a lot of even like Scream 3, it's her brother. They have to bring. There's always that a full circle, and there's also like the killer or whatever happens in like the third or the final act. The main character is somehow connected to everything like that. And a lot of times it's family.
Thanks for ruining Scream 3 for me.
Yeah, okay. You're not missing much.
What have I seen Glenn's mom in? Because she looks super familiar, but I can't place her.
You know what? You've seen her in A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Jesus Christ.
I've seen the dad and a lot of other things. That's another thing. There's a deleted scene where the dad, when he comes over, when Donald's in the house, when Glenn's been killed, he says, "This reminds me of 10 years ago," which is why I put the film 10 years earlier.
Somewhere. Is that's out there? That scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it's available to see, and I think also, I think originally Freddy, like the pinky blade come off his glove, and they find it in Glenn's house.
Glenn's dad's a real tough guy.
Yeah.
You gotta be stern with these kids.
The hell for? I got to get up in the morning.
What a hard ass.
You gotta be firm with these kids.
Yeah. What if your grandmother died that night, dude? Couldn't get a hold of you. Get your phone out there. Miss Nude America's gonna be on tonight.
Who cares what she has to say?
Hello.
Oh.
Now we talk about rule breaking, that Freddy can't come into the real world like in part 2. Well, what about Nancy's supposed to be awake here?
Yeah.
And she's getting a phone call from Freddy, and the phone rings not hooked up, and it turns into Freddy's mouth. But there's a lot of theories that this whole third act is actually all a nightmare.
Well, I mean, think about when she comes out of the dream. What happens to her mother?
Yeah. But then again, she's supposedly pulled Freddy out of the nightmare world at that point. But this is before she's pulled him out. This is
but her mom's not gonna. But her mom's not gonna go into some void that's in the bed.
No, it's
her skeleton.
I mean, that's another one of the. That's one of the other big flaws of this movie. The Marge's death scene.
Was Miss Nude America really ever a thing? I don't know, but we're bringing it back for 2021. Let's
That's
do it.
right. Yeah, because right now is the perfect time to do that. No one will have a problem with that. They got a problem with Mandalorian women having breastplates
Yeah,
for
drives me
armor.
nuts.
I watched an Armor talk about that for 20 minutes a day and how wrong everybody is at saying that it's wrong. It's okay for breastplates to be like that.
It's in the animated series.
Well, not even that. It's just it's okay. I mean, even in back in the medieval times, they had the breastplates.
Yeah.
They bulged out, and if they raise that up, it'd be covering their boobs. So
If I had, big chesticles, I don't want a flat piece of freaking metal just shoving them against my fucking body. It'd fucking hurt.
well, they just need something to complain about. See, and there's a scene here on my TV where Nancy's freaking out in the living room while Glenn's being. How does she know that's happening at this moment?
I think it's just in general she's screaming because she knows he's in danger. He's falling asleep. He's not answering the phone, and she can't
she's
get
helpless.
she
Yeah.
can't get to him. She can't get out of the house. She can't save him. And this whole movie, Nancy's been trying to save the lives of her friends and her family, and this is like she's being kept from it. So she knows that, like when she calls Donald, like she knows he's gone. I'm talking about Charles Bernstein's score, also outstanding.
Oh yeah, I have this on my iPod. This score.
What's an
Are
iPod?
iPod's still a thing? Yeah.
Yes, I still use an iPod. Fuck you, Mr. 4K.
I still buy records and cassette tapes. Say anything.
What's Coroner got to say? Some John Pulis' song.
You don't need that. You need a mop.
Yeah. What's funny is I think I'm the one who brought this up about doing this this commentary, but I just watched this a couple days ago. I can watch this anytime. It's like Star Wars.
I like that they thought to add the bucket.
Yeah, and the dad's reaction is great. Oh.
That's a lot of fucking blood to be dripping through the ceiling like
Yeah.
that.
Nancy?
Hi, Daddy. What happened?
I haven't been upstairs yet.
He
I
should
got to
answer.
see this on the big screen for the first time like last month. It was playing at the drive-in, and it was playing second. And the system manager's like, "If I get you out at intermission, you can go watch it." I'm like, "All right." So he helped me clean up my stuff, and I ran. It was cold, but it was
Yeah.
awesome seeing this on the big screen.
It's beautiful too, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful film on big screen.
Hell yeah! Anytime it's playing on the big screen, I go no matter what. I got to take Reynolds and my niece last year to see it.
I was so
Time seeing it.
I was so torn at night. We did the show at the drive-in because on the first screen they were showing Halloween and Halloween 4, and on the second screen they were showing Nightmare on Elm Street during Halloween 4. And the whole purpose I went was to see Halloween 4 on the big screen. Like,
yeah,
play Nightmare on Elm Street over there.
yeah.
They're playing, son of a bitch.
Like where I live, like there's not too many options to watch these type of movies on the screen, and because of COVID, we've been able to, I guess I could say, luckily, get all these retro movies that they played over the summer, and I get to finally see them on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a big deal for me.
Yep. That's the same for me, Seth. We don't get this kind of stuff here, so they've been re-releasing all this stuff, so I get to finally see it.
Yeah,
And usually when they do, no one shows up. But now people are actually going and seeing them, because I went and saw like The Shining and Jaws and Taxi Driver and all that when they were re-releasing them over the last 10 years, and the theaters would be empty. I went and saw Psycho. Psycho had quite a bit of people there, but
Yeah. Well, when I saw Jaws last year, it was full. When I saw Psycho, it was full. When I saw Alien, it was full. It seemed that when they play the retro movies here, it seems like everybody goes.
Yeah, see, when I go, there's nobody there.
A couple years ago,
You literally
I,
live in bumfuck Egypt, so
I had to travel a little bit of ways, but I got to see Die Hard on the
Oh,
big
yeah.
screen, and it was actually a packed. The theater was actually packed, but it was amazing seeing that on the big screen.
It's incredible. Like people say theaters don't matter, but
Oh, they do.
I can tell. Like I'm sure you've experienced the same thing when you saw Die Hard because you've probably seen Die Hard as many times as I have, like 100 times. And when
Yeah.
you see it on the big screen, you notice things you've never noticed before. You hear things you've never heard before.
Yes, here definitely.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, I thought I knew every inch of this film, and I don't.
Like I got to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark, and hearing that score in a theater is freaking amazing. And then like when I got to see Alien last year, I think it was, the whole ending sequence of all the strobe lights, like being in a theater with that, like it actually like disorients you.
Yeah.
did you throw up?
I did not throw up.
You didn't throw up when the faces melted like Eli Roth? He got up, walked in the middle of the theater, and threw up.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I saw Raiders when it came out in theater, but I did see Temple of Doom on the big screen. I know that.
Yeah, I think Last
Okey-dokey,
Crusade was the
Dr.
first
Cozy.
one I saw.
But Raiders is one of my top 10 favorite films. Like I just watched that over and over. When I met John Rice Davies, I was like, "Thank you for being in the perfect movie ever." It's like
Last Crusade, right? Yeah, he's in the perfect movie. Sala.
Every
No.
time I watch it, I forget how gory it is.
It is. I prefer Last Crusade. I'm just going to tell everybody that.
I do
Although
too.
Temple
I
of
love
Doom is
Last
the movie
Crusade.
that I grew up with. That one was like it was everywhere when I grew up. I didn't see I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark when I was younger, but I didn't see it again until I
Yeah.
got it on VHS in the mid '90s.
I was entering high school when Last Crusade came out, so I
And it's
grew up on
wonderful.
Raiders. Yeah, it's great. But I love Last Crusade's my second favorite, and it's out of this trilogy, and it's so great. It's so fun. It's like the relationship between him and Sean is just so wonderful. But Raiders just was like it's just ingrained in me like Star Wars because it came out when I was 5, or I think it came out when I was 5. So it was like I just saw the movie over and over and over and over.
It's funny though. Raiders goes back to the conversation George Lucas and Steven Spielberg had on the beach.
How about wanting to make a Bond movie?
Yeah, he asked Steven what he wanted to do next. He's like, I think I want to do a Bond movie, and George is like, I got something better. And he's right. Indiana Jones is better than Bond. Sorry.
It's so fun.
I love Bond, but Indiana Jones is so much better.
I just love that, like the scenes where Indiana's like all excited about knocking people down and killing them, and Sean just looking at him like.
I like he looks at his watch.
Yeah.
Starts minding his watch. Yeah.
Or when they're on the motorcycles and he like makes that guy crash, and Harrison's all smiling, looks back at Sean. Sean just kind of staring at him, unapproving.
Yeah, holding his bag up. Yeah. It's good, man. It's such a good movie.
Look what you did.
Thank God. It's a fake.
All right, Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
Nancy
Indiana
is
Jones.
going to face, like Indiana Jones went to face. She's making it up as she goes.
Listen, this came out the same year as Raiders of the Lost. I mean, Temple of Doom. So
Yeah. Temple of Doom's more violent, I think.
okay, let's talk about this. She's
That's
supposed to be
where
asleep
Spike
now,
went.
right?
Huh?
She is supposed to be asleep right now.
She's asleep right here.
Okay. So, but everything before that, Glenn's death and everything, people dispute that because of the phone and all that stuff.
People think that that's a nightmare, or that the whole movie is a nightmare, a premonition before the actual stuff starts to happen. Like for real. I don't know. That's just one of those theories that people have.
I just take it at surface value of you have to take a leap of faith with certain things, with certain logic.
You're all named after the dog?
I'm the dog, Indiana.
I have fond memories of that dog.
You chose wisely. I was telling my daughter all about the Holy Grail because I was showing her Monty Python the Holy Grail, so I had to bring up Last Crusade as well. She didn't know who King Arthur was. I had to tell her the whole mythologies and things.
Did you whip out the coconuts?
Biting two coconuts together. So we're about to see Freddy's bedroom here. Doubters.
He used to work there, though, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they brought that in the second movie that he worked at the
Yeah.
plant and all that.
Let's say if we're still in the drifter thing, I would say it's just an abandoned place he found, and he's just like,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had. I think like he was a drifter here. The guy who ran the place let him work there and let him sleep there because he had no money for a place. So he was just kind of squatting there. I mean, again, it's if you're being realistic about it, it's stretching things. But again, Wes is playing with folklore, and again, the whole Pied Piper, drifter, outsider, stealing your children from you in the night. Oh no, mine paused.
uh-oh.
I'm glitching. But that's Freddy's room right back there where all the light is.
That's it.
Well, so he
Yeah, you see clothes hanging up.
peeks his
Yeah.
head around the corner. What do you do in my room?
Yeah, there's like a weaning cup that I found on Etsy that I put in the movie in the club building scene that's in his room there in the background.
Nice.
Nancy ain't running; she's calling your ass out.
Sorry that we're not saying anything, but the finale of this is fantastic.
Crazy after all. Has anybody got any comments?
No, the last one was Indiana was the dog.
That's another thing. Like he's feeling pain. He's getting his ass whooped. Freddy versus Jason, when they bring him out of the night dream world, he's pretty much still immortal. He still takes a lot of damage. Like it doesn't really bother him.
But
Yeah, my dad, you asshole. So I'm saying she's tough. Great final girl.
Yeah.
She makes such an impression that when she comes back in Dream Warriors, there's a weight to her return. The same way, Sydney kind of feeling like when Sydney, like as bad as Scream 3 is, when Sydney shows up back in Woodsboro, it's like, oh, the badass is back. The person who faces the fears. And in part 4, she's totally like been there, done that. Yeah, Chris, I didn't like how he dissolved, but again, the times, I guess, the money, the budget.
I love it. There's not much about this movie I don't like. I'm sorry. I even like the dog playing pool poster behind Freddy.
Well, I said it'd be unfair for me to not acknowledge like where things didn't work 100% right, and hold it against other movies. That's why I always argue with that. With people like will attack new movies for things that their favorite movies did too, and it's like, so yeah, there's things in these movies that weren't perfect, that are problematic. I can't palm trees. I mean, in Halloween and all these kind of things where it's like, I don't care. It doesn't hurt the movie, and it doesn't hurt us, or it doesn't hurt Hereditary, or it doesn't hurt these movies either. Everybody nitpicks and tries to find a reason not to like something. Like, what was that comment? Was it the Mandalorian? Someone was like, "Well, I don't like this," and I'm like, "Can you stop trying to find things not to like and just enjoy the fucking show? Like, you're really stretching to find something to bitch about."
That's fandom for you.
Or they'll find something that they'll make a statement about something, and like that's how the series have always been. Because I've had a lot of people saying like Mandalorian's like a western, like a space western. And I'm like, that's what Star Wars is.
Yeah. Oh, they're just ripping off Star. Well, what do you think that scene with Greedo was, motherfucker? That was a western scene. That was classic western. Han Solo was a gunslinger in that scene. Yeah, when they said, "Oh, they're ripping off this," the Mandalorian. Like, the Mandalorian has from the beginning homaged classic stories, just like the original Star Wars films did. They were homaging, Kurosawa's stuff and Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon and the serials of I don't know.
So I guess I'm confused with that. Like, I thought everyone loved homage in the 80s. Is that a problem now?
Oh, if the Mandalorian did a slasher episode, they'd be all about it.
That'd be an interesting concept. What does like a serial killer in the Star Wars universe look like? Like, what did the detectives that hunt down and like solve the cases look like?
Well, he's got a black helmet, lightsaber.
No, everything he's doing is lawful.
Yeah, my favorite part of Nightmare on Elm Street is still the Tina sequence, her last nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from start to finish, that's the best. Of course, everybody's pointing out, Nate, you're the guy. Everybody loves you.
Yeah.
They don't even consider the rest of the team.
Fuck you guys.
Apparently. Although I love this.
Yeah, this is cool. And I love that, all those returns, a new nightmare to this film.
Yeah.
It was great in that movie too, with like the way the score was going at that time too.
Oh, that gave me chills in 1994 in the theater where John's calling her Nancy and he turns around at 1428 and you hear the score. Like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Why are you calling me Nancy, John? Why are you calling me John?
Yeah, sure.
And this is great. That's like the whole thing I've talked about, like on Scream Queen. She's standing up to her bully. She's taking away his power. It's a metaphor. I think it's what was part of why these films were successful and why they connected to me, definitely. Because I was being bullied when I watched this movie at 12. And to see this whole message of it is he gets power from your fear. And if you stand up to your bullies, you take away their power and they go away. And it does happen.
Now say it.
Weird.
Say it ended with that where it was literally Nancy taking away all this power, and there wasn't this additional scene. Is that a satisfying ending to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably add something like him and her and her dad like sitting in the yard or something, the camera like panning away from them or something like that. But they'd be fine with it.
Fine with this.
Even though I love the car.
Well, they shot like 5 or 6 endings too.
Yeah.
Tina's that's the best part of the whole movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm still like bummed. When Never Sleep Again came out, there's a big picture in Never Sleep Again that they had of Robert sitting in the driver's seat as Freddy, and Wes is in the back seat. And I wanted to send that photo. I was going to print it out, send it to Wes Craven to sign, and he passed away before I could get it sent out to him.
Did you know he died from the same thing my wife did?
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he kind of kept it from everybody, right? Like nobody really knew.
Yeah. So did John McCain and Joe Biden's son.
It was 2 weeks before the premiere of my movie that he passed away, and I remember the beginning of my movie had the disclaimer, all that stuff you always see in fan films, and I just called David, who was my editor. I said, take that down, just put for Wes. So that was added right before the day he died, changed to that. And I cried for days. I'd never cry over a celebrity's death, but it's like, it hit me hard.
The only celebrity death that really hit me was Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, I would say Carrie's one that I've only cried, I think, over maybe 2, and it was Carrie Fisher and Robin Williams.
The only one for me was George Romero. Like I was outside having a cigarette, and I was on my phone, and I read that, and I just started bawling, and I was telling Amber about it. I'm like, I never even met him. I didn't even know this guy. Like I felt ridiculous for doing it, but.
Well, after my wife died, celebrity deaths don't mean a thing to me anymore. So,
yeah.
I mean, George Romero made great movies and everything, but I didn't know him. You know,
another one that hit me really hard was old
Duck
Bilbo
Dynasty when they
Baggins.
die. What'd you say?
I said old Bilbo Baggins.
Do you know what his real name is?
Ian
Holm.
Yeah.
He also played Baron Frankenstein. Did you know that?
Special thanks to Jack Schroeder
Baron
and Sam Raimi.
He cut the trailer together, didn't he? All right. That was A Nightmare on Elm Street. With an awesome song at the end of the movie. So if you guys want to join us on Tuesday, we'll be doing a ranking of the series. I'd love everybody to let me know what they think number 1's going to be in the comments below. My Suspiria shirt. Yeah. Nate, you know where I got this?
That is an Atomic Cotton shirt from Eric Kaufman and Zach, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Love those guys. Bought it at Horror Hound in 2018, along with like 6 other shirts because I love Atomic Cotton. You can find them online. I think it's atomiccotton.com. They've got a bunch of great shirts. I have this really great Nancy and Freddie shirt that says "Together Forever." It's really cool. I'll show it up sometime.
I did a shirt with them once. It was a mashup of "Welcome to My Nightmare" and "Nightmare on Elm Street 1" with Freddie and Alice Cooper pose from the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
And they had that at the show where Robert got in the makeup at Flashback in Chicago.
Flashback. I want to go to that one still. If they do it next year, maybe, or the year after. So let us know what you want to see us do a commentary for. Maybe we'll have one more in us before the end of the year. My daughter says Phantasm, and I'm inclined to agree with her. As long as it's Phantasm 5.
No.
That'll be the first one. Anyway, thanks for joining us. We're gonna bounce. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna watch A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 because I can't just. It's like what was the chip that you can't only have one? A Pringle.
No, you gotta go watch Confession of Fred Krueger.
I don't want to sit through that again.
I wouldn't either. I don't watch it.
No, I like. I mean, I've watched it a few times.
I'm trying to. We're almost to 800,000 views, so I'm trying to get there.
Everybody
Star
go
Wars
see
just
Confession of
passes.
Fred Krueger. Come on. Pat Nate's ego. Leave a comment, drop a like. Pat Nate's ego so he can. No, it's good. It's really damn good. And Seth, when he's joking, he's not joking. We would like to see a sequel done by Nate. If I could finance it, I would. But the Horror Syndicate only gives me $7 a year, so the more subscribers we get, we can start getting monetized, and then we can start making money and getting ads and stuff like that. Then we can start talking about making some movies with Nate. Nate, does that still stand? You offered that if we can make it down there, maybe we could make a little something together. Remember you saying that a couple months ago? Because I don't forget things. I'm like an elephant.
I do. Like I've said that you guys come out here. We'll make a movie together.
Gotta go to him, of course.
You gotta come to you. Fuck.
I think I'm the closest.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. We got some.
I'm
great
in the
film
middle. Just for everybody knows, I'm in the middle. Like I am the central area for
Technically,
everybody.
he is. We got two East Coasters. Then Jared and I are just west of Nate. So yeah, he's right. But I'm telling you, we got the 7 Gates of Hell here. Great filming locations. I'll just film some stuff and we'll cut it in there. We'll cut it together.
I have
Get some green
woods.
screen action going. Huh?
I said I have woods.
Every state has
Be able
woods.
to-
Anyway, remember, hey, Tuesday,
woods.
come on. Tuesday, we're going to be ranking the Nightmare movies, our last show before Thanksgiving. I just want to thank everybody who watched tonight. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. And go check out The Confession of Fred Krueger. It's definitely worth, 30 minutes or so? Isn't that about right? Yeah,
31.
definitely worth watching. You know what's funny, Nate? I got to tell you, I stumbled on that. I had no idea you made that. And I can't remember what I was doing on YouTube, but I found that and I started watching. I was like, holy shit. And I posted it immediately on thehorrorsyndicate.com because I was like, people need to see this. So that's before I even knew you. Just saying.
I remember when you guys
Thank you.
first told me
Thank you
about
for
it.
sharing.
When I think it was when Nathan first came on. You guys were like, "You need to watch it," and like I remember the pit in my stomach. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be so bad if I don't like this because I don't really like a lot of fan films or indie films." And I'm like, "God,
And now
I hope
you're
it's
hooked.
good. I don't want to be a douche."
Now you're hooked. Well, hey,
I'm
look,
glad I didn't make you feel like a douche.
Luke Hardiman has woods too, so woods are everywhere. Yeah. Go check out Confession of Fred Krueger. Subscribe to his YouTube. Subscribe to ours, and we'll see you on Tuesday for the Nightmare Ranking Show. Right?
Disclaimer: there's no wife and kid in it. So
No, you want that? Go see Blinky 5000's movies.